Hello buddies, and welcome back to this masterclass for the beginners in Python. So guys, in the previous lesson we learned about lists. That was about Python data types, the way they group their data. So in this lesson of today we are going to learn about a tuple, another type of data type. So without much ado, let's get started. Welcome. So guys, we will start off by defining what are these tuples. So tuples are used to store multiple items in a single variable. So tuple is one of the 4 built-in data types in Python used to store collections of data. The other 3 are list, set, and dictionary, all with different qualities and usage. So tuple is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable. That is a keyword there. So let's see how this works out. So remember, tuples are written with a round bracket, just like the one I just want to perform on my desktop here. So I'll start off by cleaning this, which is over here, the previous lesson, and then we start afresh. So I'm just going to, or I can use this, but if you're new, just let's start a new project. And in this new project, I just want to name this tuple. Tuple. And I just create. So I'll just click here and then create new, and then I create a Python file, and I'm just going to still call it tuple like this. Tuple, or just just like that, and then I will hit enter on a PC. So there we have a .py file, and this is where we will write our lines. So we'll start off by creating a tuple in a very simple way by just typing this. And it seems today I'm so faster. This tuple, just like that. And there we have our tuple. And remember, we just use a round bracket. You can call them curly braces. Now these are not curly braces. This is a round bracket. Simple as that. So once you do that, you have your tuple there. So what kind of a tuple do we have here? Now we have to add something inside this tuple. So it will be of a string type, and yeah, you can have a couple of tuple in here, and we're going to create a tuple of fruits as usual. That's what we normally have. So I'm just going to add in banana. And then next I add an apple, and finish off by maybe adding guava, something like that. And then if I need to print out, I'm just going to click here, enter, and then print function here, print, and then you print the list here. This list over here, copy that and paste in here, and now I can run this, and as you can see in our console here, we have banana, apple, and guava. So that is how you create a tuple in Python. So let's see how let's find out what are there in tuple. So let's talk about tuple items. So tuple items are ordered, unchangeable, and allow duplicate values. So tuple items are indexed. The first item has index 0, the second item has index 1, and the third item has index 2. So that is the order of a tuple. Remember, one thing that you have to stick in your mind is that they're ordered, they're unchangeable, and that they do allow duplicates. So let's find out how they are ordered. So when we say that a tuple are ordered, it means that the items have defined order, and that order will not change. So, and when we talk about unchangeable, and we say that tuples are unchangeable, meaning that we cannot change, add or remove item after the tuple has been created. And also when we talk about it's allowed duplicate, since tuples are indexed, they can have item with the same value. So let's see how tuples allow duplicate values. So we'll have our tuple here. Maybe let's add some more fruits in here, and let's add maybe okay, let's add a duplicate in here, right? So we will have a duplicate maybe of a banana. So let me just copy this. Let me just copy that and just paste it here, because we have said that tuple allow duplicate value. So you can see we have a duplicate here. We have maybe we can also have this one here. Let's copy from here to here, copy that, and then paste over here. So you can see we can print out and find out whether they are they can have a duplicate. So if I run it, and you can see here, so we have banana, we have apple, we have guava, banana, and apple again. So they allow duplicates. Yeah. So let's talk about the tuple length. So how long? So when we talk about length, we determine how many items a tuple has. So we use the method called the length function to find out the length of that tuple. How do we do that? So let's print a number of items in a tuple, and we find out how many are they. So I'm going to use this because we have a tuple here already. So we're going to use, let me just cut off this first of all, and then I create the function called length, which is written like len. And as you can see here, we pass in an object. So it's a function with this f, so it's going to give us the number of items that are in that tuple. So let me just add that and then paste that this is tuple, and find out whether we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in our tuple. So guys, you can see here we have 5. So this, if you want to know the number of items in a tuple, you just use this length function to find out the number of items in there. So let's see how we can create a tuple within one item. Now I'm just saying creating a tuple with one item. So we can have a tuple of one item. This is really funny, you see. So to create a tuple with only one item, you have to add a comma after the item. Otherwise, Python will not recognize it as a tuple. So let's create it, and I'm just going to remove all this so that we can have only one item. And as you have heard me saying that we must add an item, we must have this comma here, otherwise the Python is not going to recognize it. So I can use a type method to remember a type function to find out what this type of a tuple do we have. So I can run this first. Let's run this and see what the result are. A class a tuple. So you can see our function here has returned this as to be a tuple. What is this? Active AI assistant for work. I don't know. Maybe you should. Okay, let me just. How am I going to remove this? Hold on a little bit. So I just drag this to the end over here, just ignoring it. So guys, this is how we create a tuple of one item. Remember, I was saying that if there's no this comma here, let's just delete it and find out whether Python can recognize this as a tuple. So I'm just going to run it again, and you can see a class string. So it's not a tuple, right? It's just a string. So Python does not appreciate that. So let's talk about a tuple items and data types. So tuple item can be of any data type, you see. So let's create a string and a int and a boolean data types. So let's again delete all this and let's call it a tuple tuple one. I don't know how to pronounce these guys, just forgive me. I'm not into that that much. So I'm just going to have again some items in here, and this item should be of fruit, or you can have even maybe utensils, you know, yeah, why not have those? So I'm just going to have a cup, and I'm going to have a plate, and I'm just going to have a mug, right? These are all utensils, right? And again, I'm just going to have a second tuple, so let me just copy this and just here, paste, and call it the tuple 2. And here I just want to still have a number, so here I should have maybe 1 and a comma, and then I should have 5 and a comma, maybe 3 there, maybe a 7 there, or even a 9 there, right? So let's have the third tuple. So the third tuple, copy this again and paste down here. Again, change this 2 to 3, and now here I just wanna have data type of boolean. It is true. And again, I should have false, and then I should have false again. Yeah. So I just wanna, what I wanna do is to print them out and see what we have. So we can have a tuple of strings, we can have a tuple of numbers, we can have a tuple of boolean type. So if I can print out, you guys already know, you already know the results. So print, just let's see print, and actually I'm just going to copy this twice and just copy here, paste. I was supposed to paste and then again paste. So I'm just going to have tuple 1 here, and yeah, so I'm just going to change these to 2 and these to 3, and now I can run. So if you can see, guys, we can have tuple items of different data types. So as you can see here, we have a string, we have number, we have a boolean types. That is it. So a tuple can contain a different data types. That's what you should stick in your mind. So a tuple with strings, integers, a boolean value is what we have done over here. But again, we can have a tuple of the same thing that we have here in one tuple or in one container. What I mean here is, let me just delete all this and remove all this, and maybe I should have this as 1. And what I mean is, I'm just going to say a tuple of a string, a tuple of a number, and a tuple of a boolean. So I can have a boolean here, and also what else? Maybe I should have one more string, right? So one more string, I can have A, B, C, or something like that. So simple. So if I run this, you can see we have our result here. So you can have a tuple of these mixed data types. So let's talk about, let's introduce this as a new keyword, which is a function, which is a type function. So from Python perspective, tuples are defined as object with the data type tuple. An object consists of different variable types. We can have numbers, or an object is made of of various data types. So here the same concept here, it's the same thing. So let's create this and define an object with the data type tuple. So to do that, let me just delete this. The syntax is so simple. The syntax is like this. So it should be a class, and then we should have a tuple there. That is the syntax for that. So let's do one example here. So let's find out what is the data type of this tuple that I want to do here. So I could just call it my tuple. My tuple is equal to, remember, bracket is, that's how you create a tuple, and I'm just going to have a variety of these, and yeah, comma, and then there. So I should have maybe the same plate, and a plate, a cup, and a mug. So I just want to print out and find out which tuple type is this. So I'm using a function called type. So I'm just going to say print, and then now I can write here. I can write here type. So I'm using the function type, and then I just want to get the type of this tuple here. So if I run this, we will probably get a tuple. So you can see a class tuple. So this is how we use this method type to a function type to get the type of a data type. So let's talk about the tuple function constructor, or a tuple constructor, right? So it's simple, it's written as this. So before that, it's also possible to use the tuple function constructor to make a tuple. So instead of just creating like this, we can use another example, this one over here. Let me just delete everything here. So let's use this tuple function or constructor method to make a tuple. So to do this, we just call this tuple is equal to tuple, and now we're using that constructor now, just like that. And now here, so you see we have this constructor method, right? Constructor method. So we are using this constructor method to create a tuple. So to do that, this is the syntax that you can see on my screen here. So I'm just going to create my variable in there, which is of a type string. Let me just have a couple of them, like 3, or I don't know, maybe you should have 3 of them, just like that. And now I can maybe probably I should have in some banana, and then I can add in some avocado, and then maybe I should have some guava, just like that. So if I print out this, so I've used this method constructor to create a tuple. So if I print this, and I should get the result. So print, and you should print this. So run this, and as you can see, we have our fruits over here, which made a tuple create using a tuple method constructor. So let's talk about Python collections, which are just arrays. So there are 4 collection data types in Python programming language. The first collection is a list, and we have been discussing about that for the longest time. So a list is a collection which is ordered and changeable, and this allows duplicate members. And also the second one, we have a tuple, is a collection which is ordered just like the list, and unchangeable. Now the tuple is unchangeable, but the list is changeable. So this tuple actually can allow duplicate members. So it also allows duplicate except changing. And also we have a set, and a set is a collection which is an order that is now very different from the other one because it's an order, unchangeable, and an indexed, no duplicate member. So a set is really funny character that are around here with us. So the last one we have a dictionary, and a dictionary is a collection which is ordered and changeable, no duplicate members. So one thing that you have to notice about this is that set items are unchangeable, but you can remove and or add item wherever you like. And as of Python, I think 3.7 dictionaries are ordered, but in Python 3.6, and I think I'm using Python 3.12. So if you are using probably Python 3.6 and earlier, dictionaries are unordered. So yeah, that's it. So when choosing a collection type, it's useful to understand the properties of a type. Using the right type of a particular data set could mean detention of meaning, and it could mean an increase in efficiency of security. So that is all for today's class. Thank you so much, guys, for joining with me. It's your guy once again, the Wolf. And if you find this useful, please kindly just make subscribe and share. Thank you so much, and goodbye.